When creating a culturally responsive classroom, there are two things that our students must know. One, that we care for them and not just care about them. And two, that they are part of a community. And in this community, we are all striving towards the same goal. So, I'm going to show you how I use a social media calendar in my classroom, and I use social media tools like Voxer, Instagram. You can use Remind 101, Twitter. So, one thing that I love about using a social media calendar in my classroom is that it creates this culture of partnering and partnerships within the classroom, which is foundational to culturally responsive caring. And so I use what I call a love box. And love represents the concept of love that I talk about in my book, Real Love Strategies for Reaching Students When They See No Way Out. And love means loyalty to students, helping students overcome obstacles, helping students vision, and educating students for a future that they cannot currently see. And then Box represents Voxer, the app Voxer, which is kind of a walkie-talkie tool. And so the way I use a social media calendar, first I design my social media calendar in Canva. And drop a comment in the comment section if you would like me to do a video on how I design social media calendars and other tools, especially classroom worksheets using Canva. So what I do is I come up with various topics that we can talk about throughout the month. Now, when I use a social media calendar in a classroom and I do the Love Box, the Voxer group is something that not all students have to join. All students are welcome to join. All students are encouraged to join, but it is not mandatory that all students join. In addition to using Voxer, I also use Remind 101. I use Flipgrid. I use Google Classroom. And so it's really pretty much what tool, because my students hate downloading another app. So I usually kind of gauge the classroom, see what social media platform they're already using, what communication platform they're already using, and then we just kind of go from there. So once we come to a consensus, then we decide what we're going to use. But for the purpose of this activity, it's the Love Box. And so, like I said, you want to be able to put yourself in a position where you're building caring relationships with students, and then you're also keeping that constant communication with students so that you know what's going on in students' lives, what are their visions for the future, what are some pressing issues that they're facing now, and how can we leverage our instruction to meet those social, emotional, cultural, and academic needs that our students have. So with the social media calendar, I come up with a variety of topics. I don't have a topic for every day of the month because I don't want the students to get tired of it. So I usually do 1 to 2 topics a week, and if requested, then I throw out another topic out there. And so I just throw it in the box. So like one thing, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I throw it in the Voxer and we go back and forth with discussing. All the students can chime in, share where they see themselves 5 years from now. I chime in and share where I see myself 5 years from now. As they add their responses, and we just engage in conversation throughout the day. And so what I like to do with this, especially with a question like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? When students tell me what it is they aspire to be, then now my goal is, how can I bring those aspirations into my classroom? So if they want to be a doctor, for example, if I teach American history, then I'm going to bring in the contributions made by minorities to the medical field, the historical contributions made by minorities to the medical field. If they want to do graphic designing, then I'm going to provide them with opportunities in my classroom to work on that graphic designing skill. Another thing is, if you could solve an issue in your community, what would it be and why? So if it was something like police brutality, or advocating for rights for LGBTQ plus students, then now I'm going to find a way that I can bring this issue into my curriculum, so that way I can help them foster that multicultural mindset, and then also help them problem solve and identify the problem, and then come up with a viable solution for solving that problem in their community. This can be used in a multitude of ways. And so if you are not using a social media calendar in your classroom, go ahead, take this one. Subscribe to the Twisted Teaching newsletter, because I create one every month for my students, and so you don't even have to worry about creating it. I'll drop the link to this in the comment section or in the description, so feel free to take this. And definitely, I encourage you that if you are not remaining in constant communication with your students, then start so today. It is important. If we're going to create culturally responsive classrooms, students must know that we are intentional about caring for them, and we are intentional about creating a community where we are all striving towards the same goal, and that is for them to be academically successful in our classrooms and schools. All right, so if you like this tip and all the other tips and videos of creating culturally responsive learning spaces shared by Twisted Teaching, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you like this video and share this video. All right, I can't wait to share what I got for you guys next week. Out.